Good morning. Time to make the coffee. Well, today's high is going to be 54. It's another gloomy day here in Ohio. And we're supposed to get rain today and rain tomorrow. So we'll see how the weather goes. I won't be doing anything outside today. Yeah, I know. You gotta wait. You gotta wait, buddy. Where are you? There you are. You gotta... All we see is your tail. You gotta wait. I'm making coffee. I know. You were just out. Oh my. Yes, he wants to go out again. So anyway, yeah, we're supposed to get rain the next 2 or 3 days. But then there'll be a break in the weather. And then I really must get out into my garden and finish cleaning that up because it's pretty messy out there. So I'll bring in some of my plants that I want to save for the for next year, and hopefully I can get all that done. But I think I can pace myself and still be able to get it done. So, all right, let's put a little cream in the coffee. And I'm looking forward to drinking some coffee this morning. There we go. Let there be light. So yesterday, went to the birthday party, and oh my gosh, the food that they had there was just... It was like unbelievable. My son-in-law even made, what was it, fried Twinkies, fried Oreos, and fried, I don't know, it was a candy bar. I didn't have any. It was just too much. But it was all very good and a very big variety of food. He had pork belly and... He had, all right, I'll be there in a minute, pork belly, and they had southern burgers and chicken and salmon and what else? Oh my gosh, you name it, they had it. So, and of course, birthday cake and lots of goodies. So... yeah, they put on quite a spread. I didn't film anything because I always like to respect other people's privacy. So I didn't film it, but trust me, it was really big. Okay, so I better let my little buddy out here. He's getting quite animated. And I will meet you at the budget book. Okay, let's go. Do you have to go out? All right, let's go. Let's go. I'm coming. This is like Groundhog Day, too. They were just out, but apparently they need to go out again. They're in such a hurry in the morning to get their morning treat. Oh, this door. Look out, bud. This is one of my things on the to-do list. But anyway, this is how gloomy it is out here today. Yep. Deck is covered with leaves again. The roof guy blew all the leaves off before they left, which was very nice. But yeah, it's all wet out here. Here's my lemon tree. I have to bring that in soon. And let me see, where is my lemon? It's here somewhere. Oh, there it is. I don't know if you can see that. Probably not. There it is. My one little Meyer lemon. So yeah, all this stuff needs to come in. My little gnome things, and so I have to clean up this deck. I wanted to plant these hostas outside yet in the front, but I don't know if I'll get to that. Did you know hostas are edible? Yeah, I just learned that this year. So, all right, well, I'm going in because it's chilly out here. All right, back at the budget book. Well, yesterday I didn't spend any money. I don't plan on spending any today either. I took some pierogies to the party yesterday, but I didn't go out and buy anything. I just used the pierogies that I had in the freezer, and I used butter I already had and frozen onions that I had cut previously and frozen, and they were sweet onions, and it turned out really good and so simple. So I like making things in the crock pot and taking it to parties because that way it can stay warm and it doesn't require a whole lot of work. So I will do that again. And pierogies were very inexpensive too. They don't cost a lot. So, and I had gotten those at Mark's 2 or 3 months ago and just stuck them in the freezer, and they were delicious. So my plans are still not to shop in October, halfway through the month, and I will just use what I have, and I know I'll have enough, but I need to make some room anyway so that I can freeze some leftovers for other meals. That's my plan. As I empty the freezer and cook things, I'll make like prep meals and put those in the freezer. So it's like a cycle. You know, you buy a little bit of food and then you stretch it as far as you can, and then you just eat it all up. I don't like to waste food. Do I ever waste food? Yeah, of course I do. Sometimes, you know, I buy things that are just a little bit too much. I mean, a good example of that is sometimes you buy a bunch of celery and you can't use it all. So what I like to do with that is I just cut it up and I freeze it in little baggies. And I always freeze it flat so that it won't be one big clump, and I'll be able to break pieces of it off and use it in cooking. Of course, you know, you can't really use it in a salad, but I do like to add celery to a salad. I think that's very tasty. So my plan going forward is to buy less fresh produce and to buy more frozen produce, because the garden really isn't producing much anymore. I still have some greens out there, and I actually do have celery that I planted that I have to cut up and freeze. So that'll be good for the winter for soups and stews and those kinds of dishes. So with a little bit of planning, you can really stretch your food a long way. And that's my plan for the winter. And hopefully I can keep this momentum going all the way to Christmas, because I would like to get some money together for Christmas too. But my priority right now will be to pay the handyman for all the projects I have going on, and there's a whole list of them. But I think once I get all that done, it'll be much less stressful to have things actually work, like my door, for instance, and having the microwave installed, and just a bunch of little projects that'll probably keep him busy for a whole day. But I have to pay the man, so that is my focus right now, is to save up as much as I can until he calls and says he's coming to do some of my repairs. And he may have to come twice, if I don't have enough money to pay for a whole day of his services, I may have to break it up. But we'll see. I'm kind of, trying to see how this is going to work. So anyway, that is my budget plan, and hopefully it materializes. And so far I've been able to get together some money to pay him, and I'm just going to keep putting money away as best I can with each, well, I call it my paycheck even though I don't work, but So anyway, my Social Security should be coming in a couple days, and hopefully I can use some of that to also add to the coffer to pay for the handyman. All right, well, I'm going to finish my coffee, and I'll be back later. Okay, it's time for some brunch. So I still have 2 potatoes left that I cooked up last week. I still have some greens, and the reason why they look more like browns instead of greens is because it was rainbow chard and it was the red chard. So I have that, I have some bacon bits, and I have 2 eggs. So I'm going to cook up one of these potatoes, and I'm going to make an omelet out of the greens. So I also need to get some cheese out of the fridge. So using up what I have, and hopefully it'll be good. I'm sure it will be. So that is going to be my brunch for today. All right, well, I cut up half a potato. That'll be for my brunch. The other half of the potato I cut into small sections. I'm going to take half of these veggies and put them in my omelet, and then the other half I'm going to put the potatoes in, and I'm going to make a soup for a lunch with the other half of the veggies. So stretching out my food as much as possible, and that way I'll get several meals out of just a couple potatoes. I have a lot of carrots that I picked up for $1 at Mark's the last time I went shopping. I want to use those up. I have some celery that I'll add to the soup. And I don't want to make a whole lot of soup, just enough for maybe 1 or 2 servings. But, yep, still trying to stretch my food. We're in the middle of the month. I have 2 more weeks to go, and I may even go further than that, so we'll see. I also have a couple of little cherry tomatoes over here that I'll probably add to the soup, or maybe to the omelet. I'm not sure yet. So just trying to stretch my food, and you can do it too. Save a lot of money on food, and maybe it'll help you to take care of some other things that you need to take care of. At least that's my situation. All right, I'll make the omelet and I'll be back. Well, I seasoned these potatoes with some of this complete seasoning. If you don't have a lot of money for spices, go to the Dollar Tree and pick up a couple of bottles of these for $1.25. You have all these different seasonings in there, and it has a really nice flavor. So you can use that on almost everything. So I'm just frying up the potatoes before I do the omelet. And I'll probably add a few bacon bits to this as well. So I got these imitation bacon bits at Ollie's, and they were $3.49, a really big container. Much, much cheaper than buying those little containers of, I forget, McCormick. So I'm just going to add a little bit of the bacon bits to this, and then I'll also add some bacon bits to the omelet, and those are accidentally vegan. So that's a good thing for me, and I use those to make BLTs too, instead of bacon, or if I don't have bacon tofu ready, or any, fake meat bacon, I like to use the imitation bacon bits on a sandwich. Turns out great. So cold potatoes make really, really good fried potatoes. So I like to keep those on hand for when I want a quick brunch. And they brown up really nicely. Alright, I'm going to make the omelet now. So the first thing I'm doing is heating up the greens. I'm also going to add a little bit of bacon bits to those. And those are already seasoned. I can't remember what I seasoned them with, but you can season that with whatever you like. So I'm going to just let those warm up a minute, and then I'm going to add my eggs. Alright, it's not the most beautiful omelet, but I'm sure it'll be tasty, and I just added some Mexican blend cheese to it. Maybe a little Tony Chachere's would be good on here if you like a little kick to your eggs. So there we go, there is brunch, and I'll plate it up and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, brunch is served. So I know that's not the most beautiful omelet in the world, but I know it's going to be tasty. I have some cucumber and tomato here from my garden that I marinated in some Italian dressing. So I think that's a pretty hearty brunch. Let me give this a taste. And I did put cheese in here too. So I know it looks a little bit like it's burned, but it's not. Those veggies are just dark veggies. So let me try this. Very, very tasty. So one of the best pieces of advice I can give you, get creative with your cooking. If you don't cook, learn to cook. It's not hard. You can peruse the internet for recipe ideas and then make it your own. Use up veggies in non-conventional ways. It doesn't always have to be a plate of meat and vegetables and a starch. You can mix and match everything, and you can save so much money. So, all right, I'm going to enjoy this now, and I'll be back later, and we'll see what I can put together from what I still have in the fridge for a dinner. Well, hello friends. It's early afternoon here, and I'm just having a cup of tea. Cheers. I didn't do a cheers this morning because my puppy was interrupting me. He needed to go to the bathroom. So today I wanted to share with you some of my best money-saving tips. Now, you might not agree with all of them. That's okay. I'm sure you guys have many, many tips to share as well. So leave those in the comments below because we all need some help these days. I also wanted to mention our Facebook group. It's under the same name, Ellen's Abundant Life on Less. Now, there is a group that's, I don't know, I was trying to figure out how to set up the group and to make it private. So there is one group with like 30-some members in it, but there's one that has 165 members. That's the one you want to join. And so ask, and I will let you into the group. So it's the same name, Ellen's Abundant Life on Less. So come and join us over there on Facebook. Some really nice people on there. And you can share whatever you want. You can share pet pictures, your pictures. I always like to see what you look like, which I can't do here on YouTube, but I can do that on Facebook. You can share recipes, your gardening, whatever you want to share. You know, if you have a party or something and you want to share that, you can do short videos on there. So, yeah, come and join us over there on Facebook. So, I wanted to get into this money saving. Some of the things I've had to force myself to do. I mean, it would be great if I had unlimited funds and I could buy and do whatever I wanted, but I don't have that. So, and actually, it took some getting used to it for me to become frugal, because I wasn't always frugal. I was kind of a spendthrift for several years. I don't know if it was I was trying to fill a void, or if I just felt like I deserved to have like everything there is. But anyway, life can be a very stringent, strict teacher. So I could have continued to work, maybe, with the fibro and the arthritis. That's questionable. But I could have maybe dragged myself into some sort of work. I don't know. But I decided to retire. The earlier, the better. So, and I don't regret doing that one, not even for a moment. So, but I had to learn I can't buy everything. There's that old saying that you can have almost anything, but you can't have everything. And that's so true. So for me, it helps keep me frugal to continuously look through my things and what I already have. And then I realize I really don't need anything. I can't really think of anything that I absolutely need other than house repairs. Those I do need. I'm talking about material things, clothes, home decor. Now, I realize your tastes change over the years, but sometimes, like with clothes, you can switch it around. And so one of my tips is to learn to sew. And it doesn't have to be anything, dramatic, but, learn to shorten a skirt, or maybe tailor a blouse. If you have a blouse that's very loose, you can always put some darts in it and change it up a little bit. You can add a belt to it. So having accessories to go with your fashion is a good idea. And those are usually not expensive. And even putting on a scarf or something from the Dollar Tree, or putting it in your hair and using it as a headband. Those are all things that you can do to make things look nice. You can pick up inexpensive jewelry at maybe garage sales and repurpose it to your liking. You can make paper beads out of old magazines. There's a bunch of YouTube tutorials on that. That way you can have inexpensive jewelry to zhuzh up your blouse or your t-shirt or whatever. So there's a lot of inexpensive things that you can do to upscale your clothes a little bit. And of course, there's always thrift stores. You can, if you absolutely have to, you can buy something new at a thrift store at a fraction of the price that you would pay in a retail store. So another thing is sticking with basic clothes. I like to wear t-shirts, not logo t-shirts, but just plain t-shirts in different colors. And then I can dress it up with a blazer. I can put a blouse over it. I can put a sweater over it. And I like to dress in layers so that it makes it a little bit more interesting. So those are some of the ways that I save money on clothes. I have a lot of costume jewelry that try picking it in the colors that you usually wear, so that if you like to wear a lot of red and black, you can maybe put together a red and black necklace or make yourself a pair of earrings. It's not hard. Like I said, there's a ton of tutorials on YouTube and the internet where you can learn to do all those things. And it's something to do. It's a new fun hobby you can do for yourself. As far as home decor goes, you can get yourself a canvas board, and if you have some old paint and you don't mind some modern art, you can make your own artwork. You can choose the colors that you have in your room and just, paint away. It doesn't have to make a whole lot of sense to anybody, but just bringing in all the colors that you like works real well. Decorating your home with pillows to sort of pull together your room. That's not expensive. You can even buy, if you don't have any extra material, you can buy a piece of clothing, maybe at a thrift store, and make a pillow covering out of it. You don't have to put a zipper or anything in it. All you need to do is maybe sew a seam on either side of it and and make pillows out of it. That's why I mean learn to sew. Get a very basic little sewing machine. They have those real small ones that you can get that basically just make a hem or something so that you can use that. Also, if you like to knit or crochet, making a blanket, or you can take a lot of your old clothes and cut them into pieces and make yourself a quilt that maybe goes with your room, so you can pull everything together. Having things around that you're kind of tired of, but that the color isn't quite right for your room or whatever, you can spray paint it. You can just get a can of spray paint. Let's say you want a black theme in your room, something that goes maybe with wrought iron or something, and you can spray paint it. And then you can get some gold paint or silver. You can get yourself a cheap little sponge, and you can sponge over the black and make it a little bit more interesting that way. So even changing out an inexpensive rug, if there's a place where they have those, and that'll bring the room together. Even throwing like an old quilt or something over a sofa and maybe tucking it in here and there will give you a different look in your room. So those are some of the things that you can do to maybe freshen up your room and make it feel like it's new again. Sometimes just cleaning a room, making it spick and span, and maybe rearranging some things on a bookshelf will give you that feeling that you have something new and exciting and different. Another thing that I do to save money, of course, you guys know it's my cooking, and I try to use up every scrap that I have, even if it's half a potato, and I think to myself, well, I could make a small bowl of soup out of that, whether it's a potato soup or cube it up and put it into a little veggie soup. And you can stretch all your food that way. Maybe having some bread on the side if the soup isn't enough. You can make yourself some homemade bread. It doesn't have to be fancy. So that's a good way to save money. Buying spice mixes, like I said, like that complete seasoning, that's a good buy. You can go to Dollar Tree and buy some very inexpensive spices there and just mix them together rather than going and buying expensive spices that are already mixed up. So you can do that. Now, one thing that I do when I take a shower and I wash my hair, you always get a lot of soap. At least I do. It really foams up like crazy. So rather than rinsing all that soap out of my hair right away, what I do is I just wash my whole body with the same soap. I mean, it's soap. It'll clean you. So I do that all the time. I save on soap that way. I save on water because I don't have to rinse and then take the body wash and then rinse that. It's a one and done thing. Another thing I do is I use, rather than on your toothbrush, rather than filling up the whole toothbrush with a blob of toothpaste, I only fill half the toothbrush with a blob of toothpaste. And that's more than enough to give you a lot of foaming, I don't know, what would you call it? A lot of foam to clean your teeth. And it goes twice as far. As far as laundry goes, now I have been using really cheap laundry detergent for a long time. And I know it's got a lot of water and stuff in it. But what I do, I use the cheap laundry detergent and then I add a cup of vinegar to the wash water and my clothes come out clean all the time. I've been doing that for years. And rather than using fabric softener, I use the fabric softener sheets. And I mainly use those because they're cheaper and I buy cheap ones. I don't buy really good fabric softener sheets either, and they do the trick. And the main reason I use it is to cut back on static, especially in the winter. So, but you can also, if you like the fabric softener that comes in the jug, you can soak a sponge or something in there and then throw the sponge in with your laundry when you dry it. That way you get, if you like a certain scent, you get that scent in there. And of course, you want to make sure that it's wrung out really well. You don't want to throw a sopping wet sponge in there, but it'll do the same trick. Another thing that you can do, now coffee is expensive. I usually drink 1 cup of coffee a day. I used to drink it all day long, but it sort of messed up my stomach, so I can't do that anymore. But 1 cup of coffee in the morning, when I greet you guys every morning, that's usually it. Every now and then I will have a 2nd cup in the afternoon, but not usually. So in order to save money on warm beverages, I switch to tea, which is much, much cheaper. And, you know, you don't have to get a real expensive tea. If you like different tea flavors, you can always add a little bit of syrup to it. Or you can add a cinnamon stick to it as it's brewing. Or you can grow your own herbs and your own mints and things like that in the garden, and then you can dry them and you can make your own tea. Now, you can't really grow your own coffee, at least not around here, but you can grow your own tea. And there's so many different herbs that you can grow to get different flavors of tea and then get yourself one of those little tea balls, or you can get a tea kettle that has the mesh on the inside, and you can brew your own good cup of tea. So you can add vanilla to your tea. A little bit of that goes a long way. Like I said, cinnamon, you can use that. You can use dried orange peels, dried lemon. You can make your own mix. You can dry berries, and you can put that all in your tea mix and have a delicious tasting cup of tea. Now, honey is expensive, but it's very tasty, and you don't always have to get the high-end honey. You can get a less expensive honey, or they even have honey blends that in a pinch are fine. Read the ingredients, and if the ingredients are something that you want to consume, then, you know, buy a cheaper honey, or you can put maple syrup, or you could probably even put pancake syrup in your tea if you wanted to. So another thing that I do to save a lot of money is when I buy nail polishes, I don't buy the real expensive stuff. And a lot of this stays on really nicely. Sometimes during the week, if it starts to chip, I'll just touch it up, and then I'll put on maybe a top coat, and it stretches it. Usually my manicures last me a week. Now, not all nail polishes stay on that well, but mine do. And sometimes what I'll do is, now if you have real weak nails, I wouldn't recommend this, but sometimes once I take my polish off and I let it dry, I'll just very, very lightly go over the surface of my nail with a very fine nail file, just to have it so that the nail polish adheres to the nail a little better, but just very, very softly. You don't want to make your nails thin, so that you know, you have to be very careful with that. So but you know, you can do a little research on that and see if that's the right thing for you to do. So those are just some of the things I do to help me be more frugal and save money. And then, of course, there's the constant going through my things, through my house. And yes, this is useful, this is not useful. Don't buy that again. And of course, having a food stash is the number one thing. You know, stocking it with very, very basic foods. Beans, lentils, rice, flour, sugar, salt, all those basic things that you can make a lot of dishes out of. You can make breads and pastas and hummus and you know, you can make so many basic things if you just have basic ingredients in your pantry. And two, when you buy food, actually I'm finding that frozen food goes further than fresh food. So what I've been doing is freezing almost everything, like my carrots and celery, and even greens. I freeze kale, because usually you put them in a soup anyway, and they're just fine that way. So anyway, please leave comments below what you do to save money, because we all need some help nowadays. What you do to save money on rent, on your car. That's another thing that I do to save money on gas. I don't go below half a tank, and then as soon as I see that, even if I have 3/4 of a tank, as soon as I see that the price of gas has dropped, I fill up. So that's how I save a little bit on gas. Also, waiting till you get a full load of clothes rather than just washing a few things. that helps save some money on electricity, and you use a little bit more water, but you can dry things all at once. And of course you can always hang your clothes, but I can't do that here. The HOA would frown on that, and so I do dry my clothes in the dryer. So all right, my friends, learn to cook, learn to do a little bit of sewing. You can, if you don't like to cook, get yourself a little crock pot or an instant pot and throw everything in one dish. It makes fabulous meals. That's a way you can save a ton of money. You can use up all your food. Use your food in unconventional ways, and you will save money. I know it's not what we all want to do, but at this point in time, I'm feeling like it's something that is a must for me. So, all right, my friends, that's all I have for you today. I want to wish you abundant blessings. I love you guys. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. God bless you. And I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, comment, and like. It helps my channel grow. Thanks for watching.